Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Kid Detective. And this is from writer-director Adam Morgan, and I remember seeing some really great praise about this film and buzz going around towards the end of 2020. It was a limited release, so I didn't get to see it in theaters, because I haven't been going to the theaters, and it wasn't on VOD until yesterday. So I was excited to finally catch up with this film. I've seen Adam Brody in quite a few things, especially in Ready or Not. I thought he was one of the best parts of the film. Not only was his character one of the most interesting, but he carried this dark, biting wit about him. And honestly, Brody brings that into this film, and by far is the most interesting part of the film. You have this concept, which is such an interesting idea of this was a kid detective. This whole small town adored him. They paid him coins to go solve all the different mysteries. But then a young girl gets kidnapped, and the whole town's expecting him to solve it, and he never does. And now he's in his early 30s, and he had the crushing expectations of this town. And because of that, one thing, the town has fallen from being this picturesque small town Americana look, which Evan Morgan's able to capture so very well at the beginning of this film, and then you see this stark contrast, and it works perfectly for the story, and you see this stark contrast from this vibrant and energetic young kid to this just 30-something-year-old guy who's just dead to the world. And he does stupid things towards the beginning of the film, which this is where Brody's wit comes in and just delivering. It's yeah, the last job I had, this guy paid me to find out if this other guy was gay or not. And it's just and he's talking to his parents, and his mom's was he? And he's yeah, a little bit. And just those kinds of interactions in this film are funny, and Brody makes them work. And throughout this film, there's that dark sense of humor, and some of the times it's at very, very serious moments, and Brody just kind of jabs that little bit of wit in there to get a laugh. Now, some of the situational humor doesn't always work. There's a running gag of him being caught in people's closets and stuff like that, and they overdo some of the situational things. Where this film's really funny and darkly funny is the wit that Brody brings and his interactions with people. And there is a few scenes in this film that felt a little, was this overplayed? Was this played out too long? Did this really work? And that kind of brings things down a bit from a story's perspective and a pacing perspective. And it takes away from what's really working in the film. Now, the story, you wind up in present day, this now former kid detective played by Brody is hired to find out who murdered this teenage boy, and he's hired by this boy's girlfriend. And boy, does this story have twists and turns. And that's one of the most surprising and just shocking things about this film is where this story goes. And I was invested. I want to know what happens, and I did not see it coming. And between Brody and the story in that way, this film is definitely worth it. It kept me on edge. It made me think what's going to happen next. And along the whole entire way, I just enjoyed Adam Brody's charisma, and he did a great job with the rest of the cast. He spends a decent amount of time with, Caroline, this young girl who hires him, played by Sophie Nélisse, who she has some good moments, she has some funny moments, but really their interactions and their chemistry is they're kind of tag teaming this investigation. it's really the heart of the film. And this film, I think, tonally, like, it's pretty funny and straightforward in that way and like a little sarcastic at the beginning, but this gets dark. So be warned. There's some serious things that happen in this film, and there's one particular scene that's incredibly effective that Morgan's able to make work and deliver a big, impactful, and shocking moment to really tie all these twists and turns together and give honestly a really effective finale to this story. And with Brody's performance and this interesting story, I would definitely recommend The Kid Detective. But just be warned, it could get dark and serious at times, so don't just go in expecting this crazy, goofy comedy. It's a very dark comedy. But those are my thoughts on The Kid Detective. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.